Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program may contain adult content and is intended for mature audiences only.
The story you're about to see is true. However, the names were changed to protect the imbeciles.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to Radioactive. Join us as we take a look at the world around us and have a little fun with it. I'm your host, Pat Morrow.
I'm Flora Morrow.
I'm Evan Auld.
I'm Justine Pius.
I'm Melanie Yusko.
I'm Dale Miracle, and this is Radioactive.
Spock!
Ship. Out of danger?
Yes.
Don't grieve, Edmond. Just logical. The needs of the many outweigh
The needs of the few.
or the one. I never took the Kobayashi Morrow test until now. What do you think of my solution? Spock. I have been and always shall be your friend.
There, how about that one? That's one of those movies that when you see a movie like that, you could not see it for 30 or 40 years and you'd still know what movie it was. And by the way, that was the death scene from Star Trek II, the Wrath of Khan, which was probably, I always thought that was the best one of the series. That the first one they made was the dumbest one because they tried to use a television plot and it just never really translated into motion picture like that. That's all I got to say about that. You awake over there, Flora?
Yeah.
You may want to bring that mic up a little bit.
You put it all the way down there. That ain't
Well,
my fault.
Well, pick it up. I'll give you something to about. Anyway, looks like we got a lively crew here tonight. Good evening, Mr. Evan. Mr. Sports Evan's what we're going to have to start calling him. And we have Miss Justine and Miss Melanie.
Hello.
And, of course, me, your host. The host with the most. Well, we won't say what. Anyway, good to see everybody. As you probably know, we haven't been on the air since November 3rd. Yeah, it's been a long. The last thing that I found on this show when I looked at the archives was November 2nd. So it's been a bit. The reason we were down that long is there was some pretty healthy equipment problems, and I ended up having to take and I hadn't cleaned the system out in about a year or a little more, and I had to take and because I wanted to do a thorough job of it and save the equipment, I decided to take and I checked all the fans, I blew all the dust and dirt and crap out of each one of them, put it back together, and then I had a myriad of computer issues that I had to get through, which meant actually completely rebooting this machine or revamping it. I ended up putting Windows 11 on it just because I'm getting halfway used to that now. And since they quit supporting 10 supposedly, I decided to put the Windows 11 on it, and it's good. We seem to be cooking along pretty well now. But this show was actually put together was right after probably the 7th of November, 7th or 8th of November, whatever that Sunday is. And I actually gathered all the clips and found out we had more issues than I thought, so we canceled, I think, 3 shows in a row. But we're back now and getting ready for Christmas. How was you guys' holidays? Don't everybody talk at once.
Ours was very eventful.
Eventful?
Yeah, we all almost ended up going to the hospital for smoke inhalation.
Yeah, they tried to burn my house down is what it was.
And said to go ahead and do the rolls. I was trying to do the rolls. And the rolls weren't burnt. They were just very smoky.
So you say.
No, they were not burnt.
They weren't burnt.
As God is my witness, they were not burnt.
Wait a minute, wait.
No, just...
Wait,
no.
I got a sound effect. Hang on. Hold on. Oh, come on, where is it?
Other than that, we had a good time.
Anyway, that it did turn out pretty well, I guess. What was going on for you guys over the weekend?
So we had our Friendsgiving on yesterday over at our friends Tracy and Dion's, and then we went to the tree lighting ceremony down at downtown Cuyahoga Falls. After that, and watched the tree lighting and then the drone show. That was amazing. And then my Thanksgiving was good. Went over to my sister-in-law's house and got there. It was like 1:00-ish, somewhere around there. Didn't get home until after 9.
Ain't too bad.
20 people over there. Good times.
And Flora, this is for you.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Thanks, dear.
You're welcome. Glad to be a help.
Very delayed.
Yeah, just a tad.
I knew where he was going to go.
Yep. By the way, hello, Eric.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Not too bad. Doing a show and everything again. What more can you ask
That's
for?
always good.
I had, if I blew an ounce of dirt out of that one machine, it's probably a pound lighter, but it's a pound lighter now. I got my air hose out, and man, I let that thing have it. And it got to one point you couldn't see the machine through the dirt.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that was causing a large part of the problem. I had to replace. I had 5. I got about 8 fans in this thing, and I replaced 5 of them. I got a couple more I should probably order just to do it. And it's getting it all hooked back up and everything. We did pretty well with it. Anyway.
On a side note, something we can talk about off the air, but would you be interested in a turntable? I know somebody who's selling one, so we can talk about it off the air if you're interested.
Yeah, we can talk. I don't really. I had a turntable on here once before because I was going to roll. I got some Dr. Demento stuff on LP, and I just never really. What I'd like to have is a reel-to-reel deck.
Mm-hmm.
But those are $600.
So I was going to say, you still got a turntable over here if you need it.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's anything I can use.
Yeah, this is like a brand new one. So.
Oh, it's new?
Oh, so is this one. It's only been used like twice now.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Anyway, other than that, let's see. We got a pretty good show lined up for tonight, even though maybe a little old topics now, but better old than not at all. We're going to talk about. I want to do something on DNA. I've got a interview with Mark Harmon, who was Gibbs from NCIS. The wreck of the Edmond Fitsgerald, which is, it went down in November. I figured we'll do something on that. And I've also got something on lightning I want to talk about. And we'll play. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all I can think of for the moment. Okay, we went through Justine and Melanie. Evan, what were you up to over the holidays? I think we heard from you.
Glad you asked. Yeah, well, I guess it's my turn now. I actually went to the Philadelphia suburbs and had Thanksgiving with my in-laws. As it turned out, it was a really nice affair because nobody had to cook. Normally what would happen is let's see, how do I describe it? Stepmother-in-law. Yeah, that's it. Stepmother-in-law has an older brother and sister who live in downtown Philadelphia. And in the past, we have been invited to a Thanksgiving feast at their condominium. Now, in this case, the wife is dealing with a congenital condition which makes walking very painful for her. She's supposed to receive treatment. So, as a substitute, we were given an opportunity to eat at a high-end restaurant in downtown Philadelphia, and it was a blast. There were about a dozen of us all told. My brother-in-law, my sister, my niece, my sister-in-law and her daughter, my stepmother-in-law and her older brother and his wife, and then a couple that I didn't know. But we were told we go into this restaurant. It's a great place. Just look at the menu. Pick whatever you want. If you want a traditional Thanksgiving meal, you can have that. If you want something else like salmon or, in this case, I had short ribs. You could have that. It was, a pretty pricey meal all told. It wasn't that I was trying to go out of my way, but we had a good time. My father and I drove over on Wednesday, and stayed a couple of days, came back on Friday morning, and just beat the weather. That was one of the big concerns because we were coming across the Pennsylvania Turnpike and we were in the mountains on a couple of occasions. I thought we were going to have a really rough ride, and it turned out not to be that way. There was a brief whiteout. It lasted like a minute or so and it disappeared. But all in all, had a good time. I had not seen my in-laws for about 6 years. The last time we went over to have Thanksgiving with them was 2019, and in between, my father-in-law has died. He died back in September, so this was the first chance we had to see everybody. Had a great time. My father baked some of his famous cinnamon sticky buns, and that went over really well in the house. So good time was had by all. It truly was. So, and oh yeah, I ran a road race. My brother-in-law had cooked up this idea of running a road race. Now he registered me and himself for this one road race. It was called a turkey trot, and it was in the northern suburbs of Philadelphia. Well, he drove over to what he thought was the original turkey trot that we were supposed to run in. It was supposed to be a 5K race. It turns out it was a 5-mile race with a 1-mile fun run. But yeah, this is the kicker. We go in to register for the race or check in this case, and we find out, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Livingston, we don't see your name on here. You've apparently registered for the wrong race. There is apparently another turkey trot that was on the north side of Philadelphia. We are just inside the city limits, but the other one was just in the suburb, maybe about 15 minutes north of there. So we end up running, this particular race, and it turned out to be a nice time. So I ended up with, a nice tee, or actually it's a full length shirt, and a turkey trot medallion. So I had a fun time. I probably could have run the 5-miler, which I've done in the past, but I figured my brother-in-law is much more, prepared for this kind of thing, and I would have still been running, and we were on a deadline to make it downtown Philadelphia, which is nearly an hour's drive from my in-laws' house. So. But had a good time. I enjoyed everybody's company and had a chance to catch up with everybody. So there we are. That's my Thanksgiving.
Very interesting.
That's what I thought.
Okay, let's go to Mr. Eric.
I worked.
You worked?
Yeah.
Both days?
I worked all weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's terrible. I wouldn't.
I know.
I wouldn't want to do that. Of course, I don't need.
I mean,
like that
I did pick up today and tomorrow, but that's because I also wasn't. I only had 16 hours on the schedule, and I'm like, I'm not going down from 30 to 16. So,
yeah.
No.
That's bad enough.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. All right, Miss Flora, you wanna explain yourself about trying to burn down a house?
I'm not going back over that again.
Well, how was your weekend then?
Thank you. My weekend has been pretty good. Alexis decided to have a Friendsgiving, and she invited a couple of her teachers from school, who, as it was, Ella ended up having one of them anyway. It was her art teacher from elementary school for Lex, and then her animal husbandry teacher from the high school. Which the two of them are married to each other. So they were very nice people. She had a couple of her friends, one of Ella's friends, and Patrick's brother-in-law, Ronnie, he came over. His wife was was under the weather, so she wasn't able to come. But we had a pretty good time. The couple is they fit right in with us. They really did. I mean, they were just as funny, had the sense of humor we all do. So
I went upstairs because I'd sit down here when everybody got here, and I go walking up the stairs. This man was sitting on the couch, and he had the same a similar looking Ohio State shirt than what I have. And I looked at him and I said, man, I don't know who you are. I said, but right now I can tell you we're going to be good friends here. I said, anybody that'll wear a shirt like that is fine by me. And what did you think of the game Thursday, Evan? Did you see it?
I have to admit, I didn't see any of the games on Thursday. I caught maybe about 30 seconds of one, and we were watching a couple of other things, so I never had a chance to see any of the games on Thursday. I caught the tail end of the Black Friday game, and that was the Bears at the Eagles, and that was a big topic because my in-laws tried to avoid being down near the stadium like the plague, and probably just as well because the Bears beat the Eagles on that one. But I would
have never predicted that.
Yeah, I was rather shocked. I admit it. I was rather shocked at that one. The other ones went pretty much the way I thought they might. So. We'll have to look at our picks again to see how many of them I had right. The Jets messed me up, and let's see, who else was it that messed me up? I'm not coming up with it right now. I probably would rather forget.
Dallas was a surprise, and the Lions was a surprise to me because I think they played Green Bay, didn't they?
Yeah, the Packers. That's right. The Packers were at the Lions.
That was a surprise to me that they actually won that. But that football team there is ancient. They're quite even older than the Browns. But we didn't come here to talk sports, so we'll let it drop.
Another show, another night, another day.
It was fun. I watched more football this weekend than I probably have in a long time, including that masterful piece of work that Ohio State put out. That guy that Justin was he's quite a quarterback.
Julian.
Yeah, Julian. Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it all the way through the college. He'll probably be up for being drafted because he's that good. But I was pleasantly surprised that they beat the snot out of Michigan. It was about time. I just wish we could have done that to Harbaugh. But what are you going to do?
I like how Brutus.
Did you see that? That was cool.
Ohio, that was fucking awesome.
Doing a script Ohio with its feet in the snow. That was awesome.
And crossed out the M.
Said that already?
That was as good as poking a flag in the emblem.
Well,
that's a little more respectful.
Yeah. Coach Day would not let them plant the flag at the 50-yard line. He told them to celebrate in the locker room. I saw that.
Well, you don't want to cause theoretically
we don't want a repeat of what Michigan did to us last year.
Theoretically, you don't want to take and piss in their Wheaties like that because you're going to have to play them again.
Right.
So,
but But we were more respectable than they were to us last year.
Yeah.
They planted the flag at the 50-yard line with us. If you remember.
I haven't seen any teams doing that this week.
That's good.
Then again, yeah, because that was like the trend last year. I
Yeah.
think like 4 or 5 teams did that.
Yeah. That actually come out of. I think the first time I saw that was when. Was it Baker did that to Ohio State?
Yes.
And that was the first I ever recall anything like that. Yeah, but it was a pretty good time. Hang on a second. I don't want my dog to eat my credit card. So anyway.
Which dog?
Take your pick. I got 4.
Oh, I wasn't sure if there was one dog that.
It would have been Yoda.
Ah.
She has been known to do stuff like that before, especially with tissue paper. So you leave her alone 5 minutes with that, she's got it all shredded. But anyway, that was pretty cool. The coming up, we got quite a bit. I'm waiting for I think they said that the college playoffs started. Was it the 20th of December?
So, something like that.
And that'll take it to into the who's going to what bowl.
Yeah.
And who's going to play for the national.
Well, I mean, Ohio State, since they're rated number 1, they get the bye week the first week. I think they haven't eliminated that yet.
The bye week. I gotta do something here. The thing with the bye week is your team. If you put a team on the field, and they don't really, they get lackadaisical with practice and that, it could really be kind of a deterrent. They're not going to play as hard as they would have.
What's the game next week against Indiana? What's that for? The Big Ten championship?
The title.
Yeah. Okay.
Big Ten title. So they'll have a game to play. They'll just have a week in between because Indiana's one of those top 4 too.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, interesting. I know this isn't a sports show, but Michigan State hired former Northwestern head coach Pat Fitsgerald. So, little side note.
The Michigan we just played?
No, Michigan State.
Oh. Okay.
Green and white, not maize and blue.
That I think that coach for Michigan was a little bit out of his league.
Yeah, I think he. Now that Harbaugh is officially gone, I think, and not partially coaching during the week, which is ridiculous, being that he was suspended. But anyway, yeah, that coach is definitely out of his league.
Well, now all we got to look forward to is the playoffs for football.
Yep.
And then it goes back to mediocrity.
Yeah. Below mediocrity. Whatever that is.
Just looking here, we actually have somebody from D Live listening. And Kick. Have somebody watching. So hello Kick viewer and hello D Live viewer. Anyway, you want to do a corners, Miss Corner? Nobody ever backs Flora into a corner.
Except you.
Yeah, this just got creepy. Highly creepy. No. Okay.
Okay. I had some picked out, actually, for the show on the 23rd. But since we didn't have a show on the 23rd, these are kind of like Thanksgiving kind of questions. How can you show gratitude for your family?
Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Ay, 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 ay.
Go somewhere 2 states away and just not talk to them for a day? No. That's not what I'm gonna do, but I am going out of state for 2 days. But in all seriousness, I would say just like it's show appreciation, or you said right, gratitude. I would say just make sure that it's small things like saying thank you and just figuring out ways that suit the specific person, and just showing appreciation for them.
That sounds interesting. Anybody else?
Show them that you care about their health and well-being.
Why do I get the feeling that somebody's pointing at in my direction?
I don't know.
Yeah, oh no.
You got a guilty conscience there, dear?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, being that we had a discussion over this weekend about my well-being,
I talked to Mom too, and I've talked to somebody else that I won't mention who.
Super.
Huh?
What?
What'd you say, Justine?
I told Melanie to stop being a gossiper.
Oh.
Yeah, really. What are you doing all that gossiping for?
It's called worry.
Oh. But yeah. What was the question?
How can you show gratitude for your family?
I still like my answer.
Yeah.
By the way, Eric, you sound pretty good tonight.
Thank you.
Good, rich sound coming out of that mic. Sounds good.
Oh, I hope I sound good after all the well, I mean, now that I got all the equipment actually set up and whatever right. I mean, there's a lot of money put in between the mic and the interface. So, I hope I sound good.
Sorry for the interruption.
Squirrel.
So who's next?
I would just say,
I don't know what could have come over me, sir.
Jesus.
Wow, okay.
I came out really loud.
That was like, that was supposed to be an apology.
That wasn't showing gratitude to your dog.
We interrupt this program to annoy you and make things generally irritating.
Enough. Patrick? Whose time is this anyway? This is supposed to be the Flora.
You might want to take control of the screen, Flora.
You can just see having a screen war.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
Anyway, Justine.
Justine, yes.
Oh, I can go now?
No.
Nope.
It's been a while since we put this show down the sewer. At least a month.
All right. Please let Justine finish.
Go ahead, Justine. The floor is yours.
Okay. I was just saying, give to them and compliments. You know, little stuff goes a long way.
Yeah, I think I'd go with that one too. Personally, doing the stuff that I do as far as hobbies and the whatever, all the work and volunteering and that I do with I don't really expect any. I'm just doing the stuff to make it, because I just know it's got to be done, appreciate it or not. And I was that way in my local union and everything else. Just to.
That's not answering the question, though.
Well, when you get a little bit of thank you or whatever, it tends to go a long way when you're not getting used to getting any of it.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's why I would never I've never play in politics, one of the reasons. And also...
But that would show gratitude to your family?
Well...
Yeah, by not talking politics.
Not talking politics. Annoying people. Couldn't leave that one out.
Yeah, that would be really hard for you, Pat.
Oh, thanks for noticing, Eric.
anytime you need someone to point out the obvious, just give me a call.
Boy, you have actually come a long way in 4 years.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but thank you.
Tell you what, maybe we should throw this other question out there.
Okay.
What food on your plate were you the most thankful for? Or are you most thankful for?
Pumpkin pie.
Chocolate cream pie. My chocolate pie. Yeah.
Flora probably was thankful for all the whipped popping on her pumpkin pie.
I was thinking a nice, tasty roll. I have to throw out there right now, though, thinking about rolls and our Thanksgiving, I am so very grateful for Frank, because I'm going to tell you right now, it was all I could do to put that frickin' 20-pound stuffed turkey into the oven, let alone thinking about taking it out of there. So I do appreciate him so very much. Being able to lift that bird up and out of there.
And I was thankful for the turkey.
Huh?
The turkey. I was thankful for turkey on my plate.
Which one? You guys had two.
Well, we only got into the one.
Yeah, the 20 pounds was more than enough. Although I didn't think it would be.
But it worked out. Melanie got to take another.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of turkey.
Make me a sandwich and bring it over.
Oh, my. Well,
And then we could figure out teleportation and just,
Oh,
teleport to
we're not doing that
no
again.
teleportation. Nothing like that.
We don't need Dale naked in our living room. Thank you.
I wasn't gonna go there.
I was gonna say, Evan, did you get to answer anything?
I've been weighing my answer here. Well, as far as the gratitude part, just when my mother was dying and she was ailing, I was able to be there to help her out. She was at a point at the end of her life where she was unable to do much of anything for herself, and I really was her eyes and ears, and I took every single skill that she taught me growing up, and I used it as to the best of my ability. So I know that she was grateful for that. I know I was grateful I was able to do it for her. But as far as the meal, let's see here. I already told you that I had a freebie, and it was it was a high-end meal. So practically anything that I had that afternoon, was great. I mean, I had fine wine. Like I said, I had short ribs on a bit of mashed potatoes, several sides, and I had a bourbon pecan pie, a slice of bourbon pecan pie. That's what I had to finish it. I mean, I did all right. I didn't have to pay a single penny, so I was just glad to be there.
All right, where are we going next?
The food I was most thankful for was my sweet potatoes because they turned out top notch this year.
Who made those sweet potatoes we had?
Well, Melanie made the ones on
With
Thursday.
the marshmallows on them?
And then yesterday, Alexis made those ones that we had yesterday.
With the marshmallows?
Yeah.
Those things were...
Melanie had marshmallows on hers, too. But
Did Melanie have pineapples in hers?
I don't know.
Yeah, I had pineapple and brown sugar and marshmallow.
I don't usually like sweet potatoes like that. I don't like the texture. But those sweet potatoes were really good last night.
Like I said, Alexis made the ones yesterday that you had.
That's pretty good.
I have to say, Alexis also made some of those potatoes, but I don't know, Justine, what she used on them. But the ones that she made yesterday, holy moly, were they spicy. It was like, now the music teacher, the art teacher, Mr. Rose, he ate his. But his wife and I, no way. She says, Mrs. Rose said to me, she says, "You're being a good boy, that's fine, but I'm not going to eat those potatoes." Like I said, I still don't know what she did, but they were just flipping so spicy. But she did pretty good on the rest of them.
Sounds like she got heavy-handed with the seasoning.
Something.
It happened.
Something for sure.
Yeah, they were a little spicy. First couple of bites I took, those weren't half bad. But as you ate into it, you could taste like a pepper.
She probably put a little bit too much pepper in there.
Something.
Yeah.
I
Like I said, it happened. Yeah.
I didn't supervise.
Well, hey, I give her credit for trying.
Yeah.
She's young.
Well, she's made them off and on, and they've been fine. But
She's never made them in that volume, though.
Well,
yeah,
much she has, because she really likes them potatoes. But she made a black or red velvet cake. She made brownies, and then those sweet potatoes, the other potatoes. Missy helped her make some beef stew. I mean, we had Ella made buffalo dip. And oh my goodness, we had all
Did
kinds
that
of
go
stuff.
well?
Huh?
I said, how was that?
I don't know. I didn't try it. I'm not a. I don't like spicy, and now Ella
I
said
don't
it
either.
wasn't that bad, but I was afraid.
All right, I guess we can start. Did everybody get to answer everything?
Yep.
Yep. Flora, did you?
Oh, I'll let Flora
go ahead,
and then I'll go. Pat and Evan and anybody else who, well, anyway, did anybody see Bernie Kosar is back in the hospital?
Yeah, I saw it this morning.
Didn't see that.
I didn't expect him to stay home that long anyway. That may have been just a politics thing or something to that effect. He probably just didn't want to spend Thanksgiving in the hospital. But I have a couple of friends that have had liver transplants like that, and they were in the hospital for weeks. Jerry Sorensen was one. Although he looks like $1 million now, but he had it replaced 3-4 years ago, I think. Was when him and I first met. It's not an easy thing to get through. Anyway, you guys want to do a topic then, or?
The DNA thing sounds interesting.
All right, anybody else? DNA.
DNA. I'll second it.
DNA once, twice, we're gone. All right, as I was skimming around actually this was Flora's thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I had seen it on. My thought about it was just how far we have come with the DNA. Not only can it confirm who's, say, the father of a child or, something like that, but we've come to, or help solve a murder. But, there again, it can help solve a murder from 20 years or so ago, because they take that DNA and then they have the DNA genealogist. That's what impressed me, was how they can take, some, DNA and take it and figure out, oh, well, this came from a relative of this person and whatever. And I find that just amazing to me.
Talking about DNA, I went to a geneticist, and when I got to get money to pay for this, but they're gonna test 40 genes that I could have what they call mutated. If they're mutated, then I have a chance of getting that type of cancer. It's cancer marker, and it's this little box right here. I just have to take it to the lab. They draw your blood, they send it off, and they test for. They can test for, like, I think he told me up to 156 genes, but I only chose 40 because the higher you go, the more expensive it gets. So, yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
Let's roll this DNA thing. You're watching the radioactive show here on the Crooked River. Welcome, everybody. We are here. We are live. We are some. We're going to do this DNA clip, and we'll be back. Hang in there.
We're also tracking this, a decades-old cold case in the state of Nevada and a missing woman from Calgary, Alberta. Anna Sylvia Just was reported missing from Calgary back in 1966. Take a look at the photo, and was later reported missing from Nevada in 1968. Police in Las Vegas say with the help of police in Calgary, they have identified human remains that were found in the desert in Nevada back in 1970 as those of Sylvia Just. At the time of her death, police believe she had been killed by a man named Thomas Hanley. He was a well-known union mob boss. Hanley died in custody back in 1979, but he was never charged in connection with her actual death. Let's bring in Detective Sergeant Steve Smith. He's with the Toronto Police Service's Cold Case Unit, and he's one of the leading figures in using genetic genealogy to solve cold cases. Great to see you, Steve. Thanks for taking the time for CTV News today.
Well, thanks for inviting me to speak.
Yeah, what do you make of this story? Very interesting.
It's amazing. It shows the power of IgG and, the humanitarian side of it, where you can identify people that have gone unidentified for, 50, 100 years even. I mean, you saw the case in Saskatoon that we assisted with, and it helps to give people their names back. So it's people that their families have not known for decades or, up to a century, have not known what has happened to their loved ones. And now with this technology and the advances in science, we're able to provide these people and their families with what happened to their loved ones.
Yeah, you think about this case going back, more than 55 years, really. How do you think they were able to determine and make the connection, Steve, sort of in layman's terms? I know you deal with this sort of stuff pretty much all the time and you're familiar with it, but how you go about identifying that and the connections between, police in Vegas and police in Calgary and this woman, Sylvia Just, at the center of it all?
Absolutely. So they would have taken her DNA from the skeletal remains, and they would have uploaded it to the only two databases that allow police involvement, which would have been Family Tree DNA and or GEDmatch. From there, they would have built out family trees, and they would have went back centuries to find out her most recent common ancestors. From there, they would have built down to see where her family originated from and the area that she most likely would have came to Vegas from. After that, they would have contacted police in that area to find out if they had any missing females from that sort of time frame. And Calgary obviously would have looked that up, probably went and got some familial DNA, and they would have been able to make that match to say unequivocally that that is who she is.
Yeah, well said. That's exactly what happened. I mean, they used DNA from a relative of Anna Sylvia Just in Alberta to identify the remains in Nevada. This is really cutting edge stuff to a certain extent, and we're looking back through old cold cases that have been unsolved for decades. I know you're doing that as well, and finally figuring out what may have happened to different people who've been lost along the way. Looking ahead, Steve, what's your take on how this is going to continue to kind of reshape the way that crimes are solved?
This is really the cutting edge of historical investigations. I mean, this is just the start. We're lucky here in Ontario because the Ontario Solicitor General's office has funded us over the course of 4 years with money to do genetic genealogy. From there, we've been able to assist all the police services in Ontario that wanted to undertake genetic genealogy for any of their cases. It's allowed us to solve over 60 homicide, sexual assaults, and or unidentified human remains over the past 4 years, and we've still got about 40 or 50 cases plus 28 more that we're putting forward this year. And this is going to be the basis of how to solve historical cases. So anything with DNA now is a solvable case.
Detective Sergeant Steve Smith joining us. He is with the Toronto Police Service's Cold Case Unit on this fascinating story, a cold case going back 57 years involving a woman from Calgary. We've now identified her remains connected to a body that was found in the Las Vegas area. Steve, thanks for taking the time. Great to see you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And there you have it. I remember back when the 70s and that, when they started coming out with this genome research. Back then, it was like the old Westerns or Perry Mason or somebody like that. Yeah, they had to prove to a jury that they, that they were guilty or not. And some of that stuff would take forever, but once that genome research started, the DNA research, they were really surprising how many people that they actually found out what actually killed them and where and who they were connected to family-wise. Even to the side of the research for the research for who might have killed them. I remember, if you remember anything on the O.J. Simpson stuff, that was a lot of DNA stuff in there. And they thought they had him without. Now, if that would have happened, say, today, then it may have turned out a whole lot different, even though everybody knew he did what he did. Interesting stuff, actually. Anybody else got anything?
I mean, I get, like, watching Law and Order, SVU. I mean, I get that's a TV show, so they kind of maybe make it a little more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but they use that stuff all the time. And that was even back then when they first made that show, that was in the early 2000s. Imagine the technology that is now versus what it was then. How much it's been upgraded. How much easier it is for them to find people now. Using the genetic or seeing if anybody, from that person's family has been in, like, jail before or committed crimes.
Well, and it's so easy to get a sampling.
Yeah.
Get it off a cigarette or anything like that. You got to wonder how they actually find that stuff, though. What are they? Is there a magic lotion that shows it, or interesting stuff?
Well, that's why that's why investigators have to wear the gloves.
Yeah.
Because
they
the
don't want to
DNA
mix it up.
Yeah. Like it'll mess up if they touch it, that'll mess up the evidence.
Well,
So.
I wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That has to be that's as big of a crime deterrent as the electric chair used to be. Riding the lightning. And thank God I've always had a thing myself where I've always been honest and everything because I don't want to get caught doing something and end up in jail. No, thank you.
No.
Wake up, back up.
In jail.
Flora, wake up.
Yeah, I'm asleep. I'm awake.
You're asleep? Oh, okay. But anyway, that ain't a whole lot more that we can say about the DNA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still got further to go. They should be able to almost do. I read somewhere once that they've made it so that, or they're trying to get it so that they can even tell what a person would look like through the DNA. And I think that would be interesting as all get out.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden,
there is a branch of forensic science where these researchers can take a skull, let's say, and they can recreate what somebody would have looked like. Let's say they're trying to identify skeletal remains of somebody.
Yeah.
And I've seen some instances where they'll take somebody's skull, and then there will be an artist who's a specialist in recreating facial characteristics, and they can take clay and mold it, and then you end up with a very close image of what somebody might have looked like, especially if you're trying to figure out, in some cases, if somebody has aged or not. But I'm rather impressed with that branch of the science.
Yeah. Any of you girls got anything? Hello?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Flora, anything?
Nothing extra.
Want to do another corners? Yeah,
Anybody else?
we've been on over an hour. God, that went quick. Yeah, let's hit another question then.
What game show do you think you could win?
Wheel of Misfortune would probably be mine.
Price is Right.
Family Feud.
Family Feud, huh?
Yep.
There are some, and I'm saying this not to tick anybody off, but there is a certain game show that I just said something about that if that thing ain't crooked, I don't think there's a crooked game out there, and I know there are. That wheel, the way those bankruptcies come up all at once, never been one for.
I feel like a lot of those game shows are partially rigged.
Something like Jeopardy isn't, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
But that other one, I know for a fact there was one.
Or even Price is Right, I think.
There was one that was had the whammies in it. You know, it had this revolving thing, and all of a sudden they'd hit the button.
Press Your Luck.
Press Your Luck. That was it.
That's still on.
That ended up getting tossed off the air for about 10 years because it was rigged. People.
Yeah, it's back on.
I remember reading stuff about that show that if there were certain things when it popped up, you waited 2 or 3 frames and then and it would stop on a big amount of money, or you'd get through to another. You'd get through it. And I never did trust that show. There's too many easy ways to rigging it.
I think Price is Right is rigged also. They jack their prices like sky high just so nobody will get the right amount.
Yeah.
But I think I could win at the match game. Or $100,000 pyramid.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I bet I could probably do that too.
If I didn't win, I'd come really close.
I had a classmate that won The Price is Right.
I've read a couple of times about people that were on that the Jeopardy show. That the reason I like that one so much is that the actual questions are pretty much public knowledge, and you have to know what you're gonna, what you're gonna say when the wheel starts spinning. Why in the heck did that do that? All right, let's do this a second. Hang on a minute.
I'm gonna say, Evan, you're
Family Feud. I'd say Family Feud. The surveys they go through. Much for the funny answers as anything else.
Yeah.
I always liked when Richard Dawson had that show. I always liked that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Steve Harvey's pretty good.
Steve Harvey's pretty good at it. I like him just as well there as I did I do that that judge's show he has.
That show is hilarious.
Yeah.
Judge Steve Harvey.
Yep. He's a riot.
He's like, let me tell you. How's it?
You broke up there a little bit.
Whoa.
Still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You broke up a little bit there. Try it again.
He's hilarious. Let me tell you something. I would stop if I was you. I would stop while I was ahead.
Yep. I'll tell you the one that I used to really dislike because she was just a flat out bitch was Judge Judy. But
she's still on.
I've watched some of her even recently. And she's actually developed a sense of humor. Heaven forbid. That is one cranky ass judge there. But that I actually every once in a while in the reels one of hers will pop up, and I sit and listen to it. You could tell that woman was a very decent lawyer in her time, just because of the way she treats the respect in the courtroom.
Because she's so blunt.
Yeah, bluntness is okay.
Yeah, but you
if it's called for.
You usually would sit there and say, "Oh my God, she's such a witch."
She is. I still think that.
But you like watching the redheaded one.
Yeah, that
What are you talking about? Who's the witch?
Huh?
Who's a witch?
Oh, Judge Judy.
Judge
Every
Judy.
time Judge Judy'd be on there, he'd talk about being such a witch.
She is one. No
He's
doubt.
hilarious.
And it was like, well, just then don't. And that's what cracks me up. Then I hear him sitting there watching her on his phone. I thought, well, now for crying out loud, you won't sit and watch her on TV and complain about her, but you're sitting over there on your phone.
Well, you have to understand me, dear.
Oh.
As far as these judges shows go, she's one of the better ones.
I was going to say that I can't think of her name now. The redhead.
The one on
she's from Florida. Her and her husband.
the People's Court.
Yeah.
Now, I like that one. That woman has got a lot of life experience that a judge wouldn't have like that, because she's been in construction and everything else. And that's why I like her. Judge Judy, I can take about 15 minutes of, and then I got to scroll. Because she gets too obnoxious. And she wouldn't if that was a real court, she wouldn't treat them like that. Courts are not for being judged. It's not for a judge to be nasty like that.
I mean, she placates to the camera.
Mm-hmm. But that judge she's a little Hispanic. But I really like her. If I see a show.
Are you talking about Marilyn Millen or Mylan?
Yeah, probably. I don't remember her name for sure. I think it started with an M, though.
But I think she's either from, isn't she Cuban?
I don't remember, but
I think she was Cuban.
I know she was.
But I like that show. I can watch that all afternoon.
There's just so many of those shows. And it's funny, one of our local channels used to run those type shows. Channel 55 was literally all day different judge. Whether it was that, Judge Judy, Divorce Court, and there was like two other ones that they used
They
to
had
run.
that one that was three judges together.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's all right.
I like that one.
I like the.
They changed it though. It's not the same.
I like.
I think they got different judges or something on there.
What do you want?
If you're talking about Judge Million.
Yeah, that's the one, Million.
She's American. She's born and raised in New York.
But I think her family was from Cuba, or Puerto Rico or something like that. I know it's down south. And that's one that I wouldn't get tired of listening to. And some of the stuff that she tries to drag the story out of them, and she usually comes up with some pretty good answers. Anyway, let's
Justice for the People with Judge Million.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's do a surprise for Flora.
Okay.
I got a clip that I've been just waiting to play for one of Flora's favorite actors. So let's go ahead and watch this, and we'll be back as soon as it's over. It's on. There's been a resurrection of Jethro from NCIS, and Mark Harmon comes on and talks about it. Pretty good clips. Hang loose. We'll be right back. Follow along.
I am here with one of my favorite people. Always an honor when I get to sit down with this man, the one and only Mark Harmon. How are you doing?
I'm good, Kevin. I feel the same way about you. Every time I see you, I think about the beginning of you and me together, and I think, glad to see my friend.
Yeah, it is great to see you. I want to ask you about the crossover episode, but more importantly, you coming back. And what is it that brings you back to this franchise?
First, you got to be asked, right?
This is your franchise, Mark. Stop.
No, you got to be asked, Kevin. People want you for something, they ask, right? And David and Gina came with this idea, and I hadn't really thought about it. It was an interesting idea. He's not alone, which surprised me. And at the same time, maybe it didn't surprise me because of who David is and who Gina is. It just hit me like it's the right time to check in with him, maybe. And so I said, yes. I'm here to help this franchise and this show and these individual actors who are all great, and I love all of them, and help cast them and be part of that. And so I'm happy to be here.
3 decades. It's a hell of a long time. That's how long I put in on the job.
Always there is something fascinating when Gibbs speaks. He says something to you. And this time, I love what he said, that you may change on the outside, but on the inside.
But inside, you still feel all the same things.
Did you come up with that? What did you think about that?
Yeah,
Because I know you embody him.
It always struck me as funny as a guy who doesn't talk much or very much on camera or whatever. That's what they created in this character for 20 years. And now I'm doing the voiceover for this show, and he never shuts up. He's talking all the time on the voiceover.
Right,
so,
all the time.
So now to come back and to actually physically be in front of the camera, which we did, I was really interested in what Gina and David were talking about, because there had to be a reason.
Mark returns to the NCIS universe for a special crossover episode of NCIS Origins Tuesday on CBS in honor of Veterans Day. It comes just over 4 years after he left the original show.
As you watch this show and you watch the franchise grow, and we see now we have Sydney and all these other things, what goes through your mind as you watch the new entities?
I just remember, and you remember what it was in the beginning, and just so tough at every corner. The fact that this show 20 years later is still on the air and doing as well as it's doing, and also breeding all these kickoffs behind it. I don't know that you enter into network television thinking about any of that. and I didn't. When you do a pilot, for example, and someone says, do you like this material? I mean, what are you thinking? Like when I read the script to St. Elsewhere, for example, or Chicago Hope, what was I thinking? 2 years? 3 years? Maybe? Boy, that'd be great. Know where a paycheck was coming from, or, life as an actor. You never think of 20.
There is this desire to have you back. People want you back. How do you balance that?
I think they got to write letters. I don't know.
Do you remember your first credit ever?
Yeah.
What was it? I want to hear.
Well, I did commercials.
Yeah.
Okay. I did a family product named Heat commercial with my dad, who was the spokesman for a certain brand of Kellogg's cereal.
I'm Tom Harmon, giving my son a workout.
I had our family in the backyard eating breakfast.
One of my favorite commercials.
Never
where
happened.
They show that great
Never
run.
happened. Okay.
No, come on.
Well, no, our family never ate breakfast in the backyard, playing basketball, whatever. Listen, everybody starts somewhere, and I was fortunate to share a toe mark with my dad on that one, which is he was a pro's pro, so learning from him helped. Ozzie Nelson gave me my first opportunity as an actor, and it's connected because my sister Chris was married to Rick, his son, but I knew Ozzie because I was a lifeguard, and he lived on that stretch of beach, and he would swim on the beach every afternoon, late in the afternoon, way out. And he'd swim a long distance and come way back, and people were always afraid he looked like he was drowning. All right, but he was a great athlete and really smart. And he wasn't drowning. He was in fine shape. He didn't need any help. And that's how I ended up on Ozzie's show.
Ozzie's Girls.
Hi, is this Susie Campaign headquarters? Yeah, come on in.
At the time, Mark was a student at UCLA and, of course, the football team's quarterback.
Being the quarterback at UCLA, you're this
It
guy.
sure meant you had to find time to study.
Right, right?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, you tried to take a lighter load during football season, but you're traveling to go play somebody on a Thursday. It's a four-day work, school week, and it's a tough balance.
Your dad, I mean, consider, as time goes on, people forget, but he was considered the greatest college football player ever.
My dad had that Heisman Trophy on his desk. He has a two-tiered desk, always was in the corner of his little office at this house, and it was always there. It was always part of my life. And someone said, what were you impressed by? Would that impress you? I said, no. What impressed me was the weight of it. Weight of it. I mean, you try. My dad used to tell a story about when he got the award, his mother was up there with him, and he turned at one point and handed it to her during the award and about put her through the floor. I always had great respect for him and certainly great respect for that award, but he spent no time talking about it.
And we are at war. Until I relieve you, which may be any moment now, you will fight that war 24/7. That includes sleeping, eating, taking a crap. You got it?
If you weren't an actor, what would you be doing today?
I'd be doing something outside, for sure.
You wouldn't be coaching?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I coached a little bit and helped a little bit, and I enjoy that. I enjoy the teaching part of that and the growth part of that. But the outside part is something that has always appealed to me, and I don't know how long ago we met each other, but I'm pretty sure I had stopped selling shoes by the time we met, but I can't do that again.
What is your day like now? What's Mark Harmon's day like now? How are you?
It varies, it's busy, but I like being busy, and I could always be busier. This business also has for people who try so hard for so long to be busy, you just got to be careful what you ask for, right? And I've always thought that. I've always thought, you know what, appreciate it, right? And don't complain about it, because it's really easy to complain once you get a gig that's driving you like this business can drive you. But I always was an actor trying to work, so do you take a job thinking I'm going to be doing this for 20 years? No, you don't. But even if you did, the commitment to do it is a lot different than thinking about it. And it's not for everybody.
I want to ask you about reuniting with Jamie Lee Curtis to do Freakier Friday.
Car's all set up the coast, Route 1.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was that?
Great. I mean, you know, Jamie, I mean, I've known her for a very long time, and I'm a fan of hers individually, who she is, always have been. And then to get an opportunity to toe a mark opposite her, whether it's on the Freaky Friday stuff or whether she comes to play on the show, which she did as well, that's a gift. And you know, she's a dear friend and a terrific talent, and I've always been supportive of her, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Is there any other role or any other dream that you still have?
Put me on a horse.
You want to do a Western?
Well, I think that's the only way I'm going to get on a horse. When I was growing up, you know, that's what was happening is Western.
I could see you in a Western. You know, I think it would work.
Well, then I think you should get a horse and we go to work.
Come on, let's go. Let's do it.
And we're back. So what'd you think? Learned a little bit
I've
about...
always liked him. I always thought he had a level head, just a great presence about him. I see why Flora likes him so much.
Yeah, he was kind of replaced by Tom Selleck, but whatever. But, you know, I mean, it was interesting to listen to him talking about his, you know, the way things have gone for him. And I never knew that his dad was, you know, that commercial and all that kind of stuff. That was kind of interesting to learn. And I could see him in a Western too. I really could. He would pull that off.
I've always liked him as Gibbs.
Well, he played flippin' Ted Bundy too.
He was just made for that role, especially in the early years when it kind of sort of had a little bit of a better sense of humor with the Gibbs slapping and the 10 or 12 rules, which they still follow on that show today. But I've always liked him. It's a hell of an actor. Some of the most meaningful responses have came from him in that show for me. Watching that thing has been pretty eye-opening, I guess you could say. And anyway, what are we going to talk about now? I got 2 more videos. Do another question. Oh. What are you getting me for Christmas, Flora?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well...
I thought of something the other day, but now I can't
Train
remember
full
what
of
it
coal.
was. Huh?
Or train full of coal.
A what?
A train full of coal.
A train full of coal?
Yep, that's what it is.
Have them drop it off by the power plant, and I'll just take the money from it. I'm easy.
Oh, excuse me.
Good grief, you think everybody was awake for this month we've been off.
Sorry, Melanie. Oh, my.
One of them days you want to sleep.
Yes, dear. Okay, we get the point.
I had to do that.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh well. What do you think of this crew, Evan?
Something else.
I mean, seriously.
It's nap time.
And nap time. I've I had enough naps today so far.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I gotta go back to work tomorrow. I've been off since last Tuesday.
I got a bunch of stuff, club stuff I gotta get done.
I need a haircut too. Jeez.
I can think of 3 or 4 things that I need to get done for the club. Anyway, let's wake this up a little bit, I suppose. You want to hear about the Edmond Fitsgerald next, or lightning?
What's everyone think?
Lightning.
Lightning?
Lightning first.
All right, let's do some lightning.
They better wake us up.
I hope.
Yeah, you'll keep us awake.
Good grief, Flora.
Sorry. I haven't been like this in a while.
Good grief.
I was even in bed till 9 o'clock this morning.
You guys ought to see what revisions I've made in this system. I'm going to be putting another camera up probably on that side. Not this side, that side. And it's going to be kind of an overview of the studio. I got to get a hunk of USB extender to do it. I need about 6 feet. And that's going to be put on. I found out that this broadcaster does a lot more than what I thought it did. So I can use these, what they call mats, and put make backgrounds and stuff like that for all of it. And quite a bit coming soon as I can get the time to get it done. And of course, I think we've actually got everything nailed down to where it sounds good. And 5 minutes on the air the other day got me to get things to settle down, so there's no echoing or anything like that. Levels are all good. So what more can you ask for?
I think you better do this next thing, or I'm going to be asleep before you get.
All right. I was just trying to stall a little bit.
I'm fading fast.
All right, let's do this lightning thing. We'll be. I'm not even sure where this come from. Do you remember?
I think that was a thing for you. I don't know. I don't remember.
Wasn't this that kid that got hit?
I don't know.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, somebody got hit by lightning and lived to tell the tale. Anyway, let's watch it. We'll figure it out. You're watching a radioactive show here on the Crooked River. See you in a bit.
Talk about the shock of a lifetime. What about this story? Our next guest, gee, that looks dark and gloomy, doesn't it? Queensland teenager Talon Rose was struck by lightning whilst walking into school around 2 weeks ago.
Thankfully, amazingly, the 14-year-old lived to tell the tale, and he joins us now with his mum, Michelle, in Mudgeeraba. Good morning to you both. Talon.
Wow.
Wow. Talk us through how this happened. What happened?
I got out of the car and I walked down to the end of the drop-off zone to turn around a corner to go through the front gate, and the lightning hit the pole I was standing next to, and I fell over onto the road.
Do you remember much more about it?
It felt like a really slow fall. Like I could take in most of my surroundings before I could hit the floor.
And did you feel the sort of shock of it run through you?
Yeah, kind of. Everything was numb, so I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't feel any pain. It was all, like, painless, I guess.
Okay, I'll come back to you in a sec. Michelle, you're unaware of all this. How did you find out? Because I would imagine as a parent, that's not a call you want to get.
No. So the school obviously called me, and when you answer a call from the school, 100 different reasons you can expect a call, but definitely lightning's not one that enters your mind. So yeah, it was a bit of a nerve-wracking drive back to the school. I knew he was conscious, but that was about all I knew. So
How was he
it was
when
a
you?
pretty scary few minutes.
How was he when you found him when you got to school?
Yeah, he was okay. He was in the ambulance. The ambulance was there already, and he was conscious and alert and just quite normal, really. They were plugging in, checking all his vitals and that sort of thing, and he was just chilling.
He does look like a chiller. But you're his mum, and I mean, I can't fathom what that stress would have been like.
Yeah, it was definitely a stressful drive back to the school, that's for sure.
Yeah.
When I saw him in the ambulance, it was a big relief because I could see he was okay, he was conscious, he was talking, there was no major issues at that point. And I knew he was in good hands as well. The paramedics really eased my mind, so it was good.
And did you get mad at him like mums do when kids get themselves into trouble, like being struck by lightning?
Well, that's the thing. You can't really get mad at him for that. I know his dad, when he saw him in hospital, asked him why he didn't sidestep it. But, yeah, there's not a lot you can really do.
And is it true, Talon, that your sister's disappointed that you don't have superpowers as a result?
Maybe he does.
Yeah, kind of. She tried to plug her phone in a few times, but it doesn't work.
I'm not going to ask where.
Carl.
Do you know what though, brother? You must be. I mean, you would have had a little bit of attention, I'm sure, before now. But having been the kid at school who survived being struck by lightning, has it elevated your status in the school to some kind of superhero kind of status?
God of Thunder kind of style?
Almost, I guess. There was a lot of rumours going around. It was kind of funny. Had a couple friends text people saying that my feet blew off and that sort of thing. Like just. So I had texts coming in all day every time a new rumour was made.
That's true.
Your feet blew off.
Wow. Hey, is it also true that the rubber soles of your sneakers, of your shoes, saved you? Is that right? Stop them from being blown off?
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
Best purchase you've ever made, Mum?
They're very thick.
Sorry?
Best purchase you've ever made, those shoes?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The paramedics said they most likely saved his life, so yeah, for sure.
Talon, I'm very intrigued because this is how my mind works about what the other rumours might have been. You had your feet blown off. What else were the kids talking about?
My toes had blown off, like just my toes. My feet were fine, just my toes.
Sort of similar.
Just your toes.
Apparently I was paralysed from the waist down.
Oh.
Wow. And well, it is a miracle, isn't it? And are you more popular now than ever before?
Kind of, I guess. I've never really been popular and not popular. I've just been average, so I'm happy.
Mate, you are a legend. What a kid.
Nothing
hey, Michelle.
average about you.
No, it's brilliant. Your toes, lucky your toes didn't explode. Talon, thanks for being with us. We're sure glad you're going to live an interesting life. I can feel it. And Mum, you should be very proud of him being in the wrong place at the wrong time, but surviving.
Well done, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And watch out. Make sure you sidestep it next time, Talon.
Yeah.
Follow Dad's advice.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, the kids at school reckon my feet blew off.
How's the rumour mill at school?
Takes me back.
It's terrific.
Did you hear about Talon?
I know.
His toes blew off.
All 10 of them. Never to be seen again. Oh, he's a lucky kid, isn't he?
All right, we're back. Couple
We
of
should
things.
give credit. That's the Nine Network of Australia that supplied that video clip to us.
Yep. Wow. Good observation. The thing that got me about that, and I think I've done a little investigating myself about people getting hit like that. And usually what he suffered was an a near contact hit, and those almost always have an entry point and an exit point. When it hits your body, it goes through one side, and electricity always tries to find its shortest path to ground. That's why the bottom of his foot didn't surprise me, but they showed that other stuff up around his neck. That's where the lightning actually went in. And it's something else to look at that. But they wouldn't want to be him. And it's bad enough that when you get near misses like that, you got to kind of wonder how they survived. Because what that would be like, it would be like getting an electric, like a shock therapy, with paddles and that. It had to have affected his heart somehow or t'other. But it was an interesting thing there.
Well, that one news person was sure having a good time with it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I saw that. All right, well, we got one more. You want to do one more, or do you want to just call it a night? We've actually got one in the can. Almost. My feet blew off. I'm sorry. That's funny.
Well,
what are we going to do?
Well, everyone, it's up to you all.
Don't y'all talk at once.
Yeah, let's do the Edmond Fitsgerald. I mean, it's already passed, but, it's an amazing story to hear about.
All right, let's do that, and we'll wrap her up after we talk about it and call it a night. I'm pretty impressed with this so far. I'll be back in a minute, and you have a seat, put your feet up, and enjoy the rest of the show. Be right back.
Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is going to knock some socks off, because it knocked my socks off. I'm telling you that right now, okay? And I want to thank a guy, one of these contributors again, Michael Grace, 3020. Does that name ring a bell? Tip of the sailor's cap to you, my good man.
Michael Grace, yes, thank you.
Okay, he sent a nice, he sent several. And one of them, I'm reading it, and it floored me. I just could not comprehend this. Here we go.
Okay.
We have, or did have, I'm going to say, and boy, I sure wish I knew this 6 months ago. God almighty, I wish I would have known this. We have an unsung hero of November 10th, 1975. And I'm not, this is an obituary that he sent. I'm not going to read the whole thing. And this was in Boat Nerd, too. So this is official business. This ain't somebody making this up.
Yeah, I like that site.
Lady's name was Barbara Lynn Kubant. Passed away on May 16th, 2025 in Chilton, Wisconsin. She graduated from Sault Ste. Marie High School, and later from Lake Superior University. When she got married to her husband, they lived in Escanaba, Michigan. This is what we've been looking for. Barb had a successful career as an operator at Michigan Bell. Now, for you young kids out there, Alexander Graham Bell perfected the telephone, right, Don? And there was Ohio Bell and there was Michigan Bell. Well, the federal government broke it up because it was a monopoly. And that paved the way for AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, Verizon that we have today. But back in 1975, they were the only show in town. She became an operator at Michigan Bell, where she worked in operator services, information, and the Marine Band ship-to-shore channel. Now remember, there was no cell phones back in them days. If you had to call home or the office had to call you, they called you on ship-to-shore. On November 10th, 1975, Barb received the distress call from the Edmond Fitsgerald before contact was lost. Her next call came from the Arthur M. Anderson, relaying the Fitsgerald's final distress message. Barb remained online with the Arthur M. Anderson for hours, well past the end of her shift, a call that deeply impacted her the rest of her life. She heard the whole thing. These guys were calling the front office all the time. They weren't, these are probably business band radios. This ain't, channel 22, or channel 16. I know when I drove, one of my weird jobs I had for a few months was delivering diesel parts, and they had a business band radio, so you could contact the office, right? Well, these ships had a business band radio too. So I'm sure that when he got damaged, he's calling Columbia Transportation Company. He's saying, hey, you know, we better get the chief engineer of the fleet on, what can we do here, this kind of stuff, see? And she's listening to all this.
So she was listening to radio conversations from Captain McSorley of the Fitsgerald and Captain Bernie Cooper of the Anderson. She heard it all.
She heard it all. It was a witness to the whole thing. Remember we said we had no witnesses? Well, she wasn't a physical witness on board the ship, but she was listening to it all. And I'm telling you right now, I would be so shocked if Michigan Bell hadn't recorded that whole thing.
She wasn't brought into the trial, was she? As far as
boy, that's strange, isn't it? Her name isn't nowhere. She isn't that strange.
Not
I
in the
know.
trial. So yeah, I've been searching for, longing for voice recordings of Captain McSorley of the Fitz. I've never heard his voice. I really want to hear what he sounded like. You know, whether that's a recording that lives at the United States Coast Guard or at formerly Michigan Bell. Surely there must be something out there, yes? This conversation she had with the Fitsgerald, none of this has been public. Yeah, right?
That's what I'm saying. Knocked me off my chair when I read it. Where's this been for the last 50 some odd years? Now.
So there's nothing in the NTSB report about her conversation with Fitz or Anderson.
But obviously, I don't think her family is going to put an obit in there, especially Boat Nerd is not going to publish BS, you know. When this is documented that she worked there and worked that night, I'm just saying, does Columbia Transportation Company, which doesn't exist anymore, did they record all that stuff? You know darn well they did, because you know, you're going to have some secretary that she's typing, no offense against secretaries, but you know, she's been partying the night before. Oh, I broke a nail. Oh, I forgot. What did they just say? You know, so they recorded the whole thing, you know. Same for U.S. Steel, which became Great Lakes Fleet, see? Long story short, there was a distress call, but not over the public airwaves, but to the company. And we're, you know, this is bad news here. That's why I said I wish I'd have known this 6 months ago.
To sit down with her.
Can you imagine?
Having her recollect
what she heard. So that's why I've been reluctant to try and get a hold of some of her relatives, because there ain't no way anybody would keep that in their brain and never say nothing to nobody for that long. It affected her the rest of her life. You know as well as I do, just like Dennis Hale. When he started talking about this, thinking, you know, the Dan and James Morrow going down.
He kept quiet for years.
Yeah, it was tearing him up.
Couldn't take it anymore.
Until he started talking. His psychiatrist says, hey, you got to start talking about it.
You got to get this off your chest.
And then he started feeling a whole lot better. So I'd have to believe, wouldn't that be something if she's got her brother or somebody's got a thumb drive with this whole thing, you know?
Surely there are...
Stop calling me Shirley.
I surely will. Not anymore.
No, but really, you're absolutely right. There's some kind of record of this. Now, did she get sworn to secrecy? You know, a non-disclosure agreement. But now here comes, and not until somebody passes away does the family go, there was a distress call, but it was to the home offices. And Bernie Cooper never said a word of it during the Coast Guard hearing. You know, it'd been nice. Hey, Bernie. Yeah, well, there we were. You know, we were talking to the home office, and I did read a couple of. I don't think it was in Philip Hoag's, but one of the other guys said that the testimony that Cooper said right away to the home office, he was way too close there. He bottomed out on 6 Fathom, so no doubt about it. But liability-wise, they had to shift that whole thing away. And then they go, well, there's no such... The first thing I remember reading was, there ain't no such thing as 6 Fathom show from the Canadian Coast Guard. Oh, really? They send a hydrographic team out there. Oh, yeah, and it goes another mile and a half out further than what they said. You know, when Captain Mike Gapser verified that he saw the tug lifting that big rocks out with the red bottom paint on it.
That's more smoking gun stuff.
Absolutely. And we've got the name of a couple people that were there. One guy doesn't want to answer, and the other guy passed away. So see, with each day, other people keep passing away. Boy, I wish somebody would have said something.
This is a perfect example. This lady from Michigan Bell, you know, we could have sat down with her
We could have drove up there and talked to her.
What a fascinating conversation that could have been. what she could have recalled. In addition to preserving the memories of the men and answering questions about what happened, it's a race against time to get to these people who are still left that know something or were on the Fitsgerald. I mean, Capser's what? Captain Capser, he's 94. I mean, we're running out of time. Your brother's 80-something.
Yeah. See, he's born.
He was a porter on the Fitsgerald.
He'll be 83 this year, yeah.
Well, we are going to Whitefish Point in November, see what happens there, and never know who we're going to come across or run across. I think your brother's story is cool. I mean, this guy, in his younger years, just a teenager, he's a porter on the Edmond Fitsgerald. Later on in life, he would become the esteemed editor of the Toledo Blade back when the Toledo Blade was a big, big deal. He's got a great story to tell. He was fun to listen to.
Absolutely. Well, he's a good orator, if you want to call it that. I mean, he's had dinner with presidents and Indian chiefs and potentates, so he's been around the block on a couple of occasions, But I'm going to try and reach out and see if I can't, and maybe they see this, maybe they'll see this statement. Gee, it's time to share this with the world. The Fitsgerald belongs to the world now. This is not local. This is all over. But for me, I don't know what headline you got to do.
Sure.
Fitsgerald distress call finally revealed. Well, I mean, we don't know exactly what was said, but that poor woman sat there hearing all this. I mean, you talk about this like listening to an old time radio. Remember War of the Worlds with Orson Welles? Remember how he freaked the whole country out? The Martians have landed,
And everybody thought it was real.
Yeah, but he did a disclaimer at the beginning and in the middle and at the end it said this is just a radio program. But people didn't hear that part. They flipped out.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful. And I would have never said that front on camera if it wouldn't be published in Boat Nerd there. So, boy, that poor woman taking that to her grave. I'm telling you what, now she is an unsung hero of the night of November 10th, 1975, because she was probably the only female voice that McShirley and Cooper, because they had to call in and then they had to patch them through to the home office,
And the fact that you said she went beyond her shift because she was so taken in, so compelled.
The rest of the night, yep.
To have access to this conversation, it had to have been fascinating, riveting, and disheartening, and all those things.
I got goosebumps right now just thinking about what she went through. I mean, my God Almighty, it's every one of those mariners said the same thing though. In shoal waters, if you got big waves, they become more fierce in shallower water. And on top of everything else, you got the fetch all across Lake Superior hitting the Canadian shoreline coming. That's what these three sisters did. Monstrous waves here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same place my Uncle Claude, when he was on the Howard M. Hanna back in 1839. One of the big waves threw him up against the bulkhead and he cut his tongue somehow. And they tried everything to stop it because he had to get off at the sewer, go to the hospital, So it's that Whitefish Point area. That's a very strange area, buddy. When Gitchy Goldie kicks up her heels, Hit the subscribe button, folks. I'm telling you, put them comments in there, like and subscribe. We appreciate it because this is what makes this whole thing spread. Helps Don's channel to grow. As long as I pay $1.50 for these at Dollar Tree, so as long as I can keep buying them, I'm going to keep digging.
$1.50 at Dollar Tree?
Yeah. Well, so I thought that was pretty heavy. I mean, if that ain't a smoking gun, I don't know what is.
Excellent stuff.
Thank you very much.
All right, that wraps that up. I've always been interested in that, in the way that ship went down. That's probably one of the only freshwater lake sinkings that I've ever seen. At least not there was a few of them, but they weren't that they didn't get the kind of publicity the Fitz did. And I've always found that story pretty interesting. That's why we went ahead and used it. Anyway, I was going to say now. Oh, well. Poof. Yeah, I guess we can wrap this if you guys are ready. Holy crap, I got almost 2 hours in. Imagine that.
Imagine that. We
And,
made it through.
all right. We made it through and it's still running. Hallelujah. But anyway, anything else, Mr. Evan? Girls?
Nope.
Nope.
Hope they can find out if this transcript exists, or this tape of the conversation. Be a neat historical document to find.
I don't know if they're ever going to find something like that. If that woman wanted to come out with stuff, she would have at some point already done it.
Yeah, but like they were saying, if Michigan Bell itself happened to have kept, they had to have. My ex-husband that worked for General Telephone, they used to have these huge tapes that they had. He brought home some one time that I always like, what the heck? Well, I ended up after the divorce, I had them, and I called their people, and I said, you know what? I said, I don't know what this is, but I said, he brought it home. Well, they took them with them. They said it really wasn't anything, that concerning, but they went ahead and took them with them anyways. So I have to, and that would have been 1980, and they were talking 75.
Yeah, you'd think they would have done something like that.
I'm sure they would have probably made tapes of that. They had to have. Somebody's got something somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and wrap it up for the night. I want to thank everybody that tuned in on Kick. See, we got 2 there. We've got a YouTuber. And we got somebody still on D Live. Evening, everybody, and hope you are having a good evening. If you ever want to make any comments or have any questions about our show, you can get a hold of us, me, actually anybody on this show. I'll just forward the info to. You can write, send an email to office@crookedriverradio.com, and if anything comes in, I'll pass it around. With that, I think we can go ahead and call her a night. Any announcements or anything before I do?
Announcements?
Before I do my regular spiel? Nothing.
Okay.
All right. Well, I do want to remind everybody that tomorrow night is our amateur radio program. We're probably going to cover some of the digital modes in that. FT8, DMR, several others that different companies have got that have come out with. I can probably talk about that for 2 or 3 shows, but I may try to just lean it out into one program. I think somewhere down the road too, we're going to probably do a Christmas special with that show, and it'll be what your ham radio operator wants for underneath his Christmas tree, and I'll probably do some demonstrating there. Then coming up next Saturday, we finally brought the 4 Guys on Sports came back. We had a show yesterday morning. Where there's not going to be one this next morning, or actually there is going to be one, but it's going to start at 10 o'clock because I have an appointment, or 10:30 rather. I have an appointment that I got to go to at noon, so I got to be out of here by roughly 11:30. So, and with that, anything else I think we need to talk about? Justine, Melanie, anybody? I guess it's going to be quiet. So, anyway, Y'all have a good week. We will see you all on this show next weekend. Hopefully, we can get it all the way through. All right, Radioactive, where's the closeout at?
Have a good week, everybody, and a good night.
And you too, child. Night, everyone, and 7-3.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of Radioactive by the Crooked River Radio Network. See you again soon.